Joining me now is Sixers co-owner Michael Rubin. We've got him on the phone. Michael, let me ask you, what did Meek open your eyes? You've talked about him opening your eyes before. What did he open your eyes to as far as what I've also heard you say, there being two Americas when it comes to criminal justice?
Yeah, he opened my eyes to exactly that. To be honest, where I grew up, if you make a mistake, the repercussions are minor. Where Meek grows up, if you make a mistake, you go back to prison. So a great example of that, if I know someone who smoked marijuana, they get a slap on their wrist, a misdemeanor. Meek knows somebody who smokes marijuana, they probably end up going to prison.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just that difference right there. Let me ask you this. Recently, Meek tried to travel to Toronto. He's obviously a big Sixers fan, wanted to be there. The judge in this case denied it. I know you have been very vocal about her. What does the fact that his case remains under this judge that's been there for years, that seems to constantly be violating him for probation violations, what does that say about the court system?
Yeah, well, the first thing is most people think today that Meek is free, and he's really not free. He's been on probation for 12 years. He has another 6 years of probation left, and the minors think can send him back to prison. So if Meek tested positive for smoking marijuana, if he showed up late to meet his probation officer, he could be sent back to prison. But really the bigger issue is the overall broken criminal justice system. Today there's 6.7 million people in the criminal justice system. America has 5 times the rate of incarceration of everywhere else in the world. And there are 4.5 million people on probation and parole. And that's the area that Meek and I and the Reform Alliance really want to fix. Probation and parole is really supposed to be about how do you rehabilitate somebody, but it's not working that way. And we have a goal of getting at least 1 million people out of the probation and parole system over the next 5 years while keeping communities safe. And I think in general, we need a complete overhaul of the criminal justice system in America.
How, in your opinion, is it working with Meek's judge? When you talk about rehabilitation, what does it seem to be that she's doing?
Yeah, well, it's not working. I mean, I'll give you a great example. Meek had an opportunity to go to Dubai a few months ago for a concert for a day, and he was going to be paid $450,000. The judge approved him to travel after the concert had already run its time. Of course, in other words, his time to travel there got approved after the date of doing the concert. So he didn't get to make that $450,000, which stimulates so many people around him. So everything he needs to do is controlled by his judge. He couldn't go to Toronto last week. He hasn't yet been approved to go to Toronto tomorrow. And by the way, Philadelphia wants him there. And he's somebody who should not be under, he's somebody who should be free. And people think he's free, and he's not free today. And again, this goes to the overall problem of probation and parole. I was talking to a very important person in basketball who was telling me about a friend of theirs who was on probation, and a friend of theirs passed away, and he just wanted to go to the funeral, and he would have been arrested if he would have gone to that funeral. Probation and parole, again, should be about how do we help people and rehabilitate them, not how do we wait till they mess up and put them back in prison.
So what is the Reform Alliance doing right now to try to change things?
Yeah, so we're going state by state to try to change the laws in each state to make logical sense. So in Pennsylvania, as an example, where I'm from, where Meek is from, Pennsylvania has some of the worst criminal justice laws and some of the worst probation and parole laws. As a matter of fact, Pennsylvania is the 3rd worst state in the country for the rate of people on probation and parole. So what we want to do is change the laws to put caps on how long you can be on probation, caps on if you have a technical violation, you can't be sent back to prison. So as an example, in many states, you can only be on probation for, the majority of states have a cap on probation. You can only be on probation for up to 5 years. In Pennsylvania, there's no cap on probation. So Meek will, between how many years he served already and years left, be on probation for 18 years. Mm-hmm. I didn't know you could go back to prison for not committing a crime. And that's what so many people don't understand. And 80% of people that are on probation that go back to prison and jail each year are for violating their probation, and they're not committing crimes. It's because they're late to meet the probation officer. It's because they tested positive for smoking marijuana.
I'll tell you.
It's because they didn't pay their fines. And I didn't think you could go to prison for that. I thought if you went to prison,
Michael, I got
to
jump in because we run out of time, but it's great to hear from you, and hopefully we see some change soon. Michael, thank you.